what if you need to send a staged message? Let's do that again. What if you need to send a stage message that's primarily numbers? I mean, maybe it's got a label around it, but it's basically numbers. And the person with that information is not the ProPresenter operator. Is there a way to have someone else input that number and have it show up on the stage screen automatically? Well, yeah, there is. Stick around and I'll show you how. Presented by Church Tech U, it's the ProPresenter Show. On today's show, how to update numbers on the stage screen with the Stream Deck using Companion from BitFocus. Hi and welcome again to the ProPresenter Show. This is the show where I teach you all about ProPresenter. My name's Paul Allen Clifford. And before we get started, if you've ever had a situation where you needed to have someone send a number to the stage screen, maybe that is a number of people that are watching online, it's the number of people being baptized, or it's the amount of money being raised, something like that, tell me about it below. And if you've got other ideas, tell me about those below as well, because I'd love to be able to add that list of things that maybe this would be useful for. So this actually came about as part of a question on the official ProPresenter users community. My initial thought was to use like a message on the messages layer, but it wasn't exactly the best way to do it. Well, Dan Owen from Australia, who wrote the module for ProPresenter for Companion, mentioned this, and so I thought that I would share it with you. So credit where credit's due, this is Dan's idea, but let's head over to the computer and I'll show you just the different stuff about how we could do this exactly. So first thing we're going to need to do is bring up a web browser and go to bitfocus.io. Now if you've already got Companion, you don't need to do this, but if you don't, first click sign up. It's absolutely free. Sign up, and then you'll need to sign in like I'm doing right here. I've already put in my name and email and all that fun jazz there, password, all that. Now go to downloads, and you're going to need to download this version of Companion. Unless you're running it on a Raspberry Pi, then you'll do that. If you don't know what a Raspberry Pi is, it is a single board computer. It's not a very powerful computer, but it's great for like single use things, like for example running a 3D printer, or in this case running a Stream Deck directly from it without using another computer. So that's the one that I have here on the Stream Deck that I use. Right here is this little case is 3D printed, and underneath it is, I don't think you can see that there. You see that? That is the Raspberry Pi. So it's just a little computer that is actually running the whole shebang here. So this only has power and a network connection, and the network connection could be Wi-Fi. So I could just put this backstage or put this at a producer position or something, having it not actually connected to another computer and have it do the same thing. Just FYI, another little thing you could do with that. So anyway, that is the pieces of software you'll need to download and install in the appropriate place. Once you do that, you can bring up Companion, and this is what the final thing is going to look like. But let me show you the connection that you need to make. So let's go down here to modules, and you'll do a search for generic data, and that is this. So this is the one you'll need to install. I've already installed it, but let me just select this one, and I would go ahead and install it from here, and that would be good to go. But instead, that's the one that I'm going to use. Okay, once I've done that, I go up here to the top where it says buttons, and I find a page of empty buttons for my Stream Deck. I've got the Stream Deck XL here, but no reason why you couldn't do this on a smaller Stream Deck, although you're going to have a lot fewer buttons to deal with. That one is like 4 by 3. No, it's 5 by 3 because it's a 15 button. So this bottom row, I need to put those over here. And, you know, I'd probably do like decimal point 0 and then backspace if I did that. Now, to get these, basically I went over here to presets. Let me hide myself again. And I went down here to data entry. And under control, this is where I got the backspace button. And for the rest, I got them all here. So if you're in Europe, maybe you use a comma instead of a decimal point for your numbers, whatever. And maybe you don't need those at all if it's all whole numbers, like you're never going to do currency. You're only going to do like how many people are watching or something like that. So just drag those and drop those onto the appropriate slide, and then once you, I'm holding down the shift because when you hold down shift, it will actually do what you click. So notice I did that, and then I can backspace to get rid of it. So that's how I did that. I'm going to click delete here and delete that button because we don't actually need that. So that's the first piece of the puzzle right there, is we're going to add in the number pad. The next piece of the puzzle is we need to have a kind of a display of how many we put in and a way to send that to the stage screen. So to display what's actually showing, let's go over here to variables. When we do that, we scroll all the way down until we see data entry, not yellow box, data entry. And when you do that, if you were to copy this very first one, data entry cursor, copy that and go back to your buttons and then select a button, regular button, and then under style, hide myself again, text button string. Notice it's got the $sign. The $sign here means variable, so I can pop that in and just paste it in, and that'll be ready to go. So now if I type in 1, 2, 3, notice that it does show there. Might have actually used a different variable here. Let me, data entry raw was the one that I did there. Well, I can fix that just by clicking in here and typing RAW instead. Problem solved. Okay, so that's how I did that, but that just displays it. This also, in addition to displaying it, if I click on it and go to step 1, this will show amount of money raised today. I just type those words in, colon, $sign, space, and then the data entry raw variable. So I just pasted that variable in, and notice what happens when I click on this. Holding down shift again, click on that, amount of money raised today, $123. And if we go back to ProPresenter, notice down here it says amount of money raised today, $123, down here in the stage screen area. Now, you would need to make sure that you're on a layout that includes a stage screen button or a stage message area, but as long as you do that, it should just show there. So going back here to companion, if I just go through and delete all that, now I've also included this, which when I click on it, it clears out the stage message. So basically, under style, for the feedback, I have it showing the stage message, and then for the actual command that it sends is show stage message with nothing in there. So that's how that one works as well. So that is just a couple of the things that you can do with that module from within Companion. Oh, I should also tell you before I let you go that if we go up here to if you go here to surfaces, there are a couple of other things that you can do here, like there's free software called Screen Deck. Just search for that in GitHub, and that is a piece of software that will emulate a Stream Deck. There's also an emulator that you could do as well that is basically, so let me hide this, it's basically just a web page here in Companion as well, so you could do that instead. So there are a lot of different options, and I've got even more tutorials in this playlist, if you're watching this on YouTube, of different ways to interact with this free and powerful software instead of just buying a Stream Deck. Although I love the tactile buttons, so I would always recommend buying one. Till next time. Oh, I forgot to say, if you'd like a step-by-step guide to this, go to tdm.fyi/progifts2608. That's on the screen right now. And look for the cheat sheet that I have about how to set up Companion to enter in numbers on the stage screen. By the way, if you had more than one use case, you could have multiple buttons, one for each message. So one button could say number of people being baptized today, colon, and then the variable. Another one could say amount of money raised today, colon, variable. And then the third one could have the number of people on the live stream, colon, variable. And whichever one you hit is the one that would show up on the stage screen. So lots of different things you could do. By the way, by all means, if you've got other ideas, put them in the comments along with this video and tell me about them, because I'd love to know more use cases. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford from TrinityDigitalMedia.com and ChurchTechU.com, reminding you to go out and change eternity.